driven such a great race, and since the safety car came out, this race has had his name all over it then. The Cadillac, all new team this season. Malone has got it all right tonight. He wins the Italian Grand Prix. Well, good afternoon, good evening everybody, and welcome back to MOR Esports. I've just realised I've got the WRC stream transition still on. I will get that changed over because I still am on the old stuff. But rebranded to MOR Esports and starting here today, back on the commentary after a few weeks here in Japan for the first round of the season for the Formula 2. And a very nice night of racing ahead of us, I have to admit. Of course, a bit of a different format than what you may be used to if you do watch the Formula 1 that we do here at MOR Esports. One-shot qualifying first of all, then a sprint race, and then a feature race, all at 50%, and a one-shot qualifying coming up first, then into your sprint, then into your feature. But it's so good to be back. Nice to see everybody joining us in the chat tonight. As I'm very lucky that I got on time, because for some reason I've had it in my head since I was coming back that I thought it was going to be an 8 p.m. one. Then I realised it is 6 p.m. and just about made it in, which was very silly of me. I'm very glad that I looked, because I would have been late and probably got told off. But we've got it sorted, and I'm very, very much looking forward to getting into this again. Feels like it's been a very long time. Of course, starting with something that I'm not normally too used to, but week by week we are getting a little bit better at the F2, and starting with a brand new season here in the one-shot qualifying. First of all, a lot of new drivers joining us. Of course, this league growing massively week by week by week, and I've been away for a few weeks now, so I'm sure there's going to be even more here than when I was last around. Lawless Fever, a driver who I know from other racing leagues, joining us here, and currently as the fastest driver. It is pretty hard to tell where the drivers are, of course, in these one-shot qualifyings. You can only spectate a single driver when they're making their way round the track. But so far, Lawless Fever looking good. The first sector is purple. The back end getting a bit squirrely, sorting it out. That allows Ruffer X now to go on to the quickest time in the AX car. It's looking good at the moment. Lawless Fever then through the left-hander. A lot better on the exit. Once again now, that leading driver of this one-shot qualifying session in the Trident. Can this be anywhere near where I'd like it to be then at the end of this session, everybody? All the way round to the left-hand side, middle of the pack as well. JP trying to make his way through in P7. But Ruffer X now managing to get ahead of Lawless Fever again. Now down towards the end of Sector 2 on the soft tyres for all drivers here into 130R. It's Lawless Fever as the quickest driver, the man in front as it stands, but will he be beaten by Ruffer X into the final few corners and towards the line? Here comes Lawless Fever. Will it be that pole position for the sprint that he's been waiting for? It will be a 37.4 and pole for the sprint race for Lawless Fever. Then comes Farrell at the very end. Somehow Farrell takes second place. A great final corner then from Lewis the Ginge, Ruffer X, MOR Blake. Then comes JP Combs, CB, Stu, Macho Wings, JF1 in 10 on his return. JF1 racing now as well. And the list goes on. But a nice one-shot qualifying. As I mentioned, the sprint race coming up just after this very short break. Here's the results then. Lawless Fever in the Trident on pole position here in the F2 cars to kick-start this season off. And 0.8 of a second is the gap then. Absolutely insane. From Farrell, second place. Lewis the Ginge, then third, with Ruffer X 4, Blake 5, joined by JP in 6, CB and Stu are 7 and 8, Macho Wings 9, and JF1 in P10. That is it then for your sprint. For the one shot into the sprint now. As CB, by the way, this is my first time in F2 cars. Well, fair enough, mate. P7's not too bad at all, is it? It really isn't. Hello, Jack. How was your holiday? Very nice, mate. I'm very sad that I'm home, to be honest, because it was absolutely amazing. But always nice to get back to the commentary. It feels like it's been a long time, especially because of the amount that I was doing every day. And then to go from doing, 3 or 4 a day to none for like a week and a half, it was really weird. But we are back. And looking forward to getting into this. I have got a run of commentaries coming up this weekend as well. Tomorrow I've got 3, I think 4, 6 and 8, and should be 4, 6 and 8 as well for Sunday. So a busy 2 days coming up, but it is going to be nice to be back and get in the mix of it again. And of course, commentate on the F1 is what I'm normally used to, so that will be quite good. But I can't believe how big the league is. I think there's over 600 people now in the Discord and gaining. And it does seem that, of course, we had the massive buzz of social media, excitement and people joining and things like that. And that does tend to die down eventually. But we may not be getting the same amount of, following on the social medias. But the people are showing up in the league. The benefit that it's had to the league is absolutely insane. How we're filling all of these sessions every single night of the week. I think it's 5 or 6 races a day at the minute, and that's every single day of the week, of course. So I think it's 40 odd races a week, which is just crazy. And commentators at every one of them, and of course pretty much a full grid for every one of those as well. And this is the first round of the season, first round of 8 of this Formula 2 season. We are here in Suzuka for the first round. Then we go to Shanghai. It is Yas Marina Circuit, Abu Dhabi for round 3. Then Austria reverse. Then we go to Melbourne, the Albert Park Circuit. It is Interlagos, Brazil. Then we go to Singapore for the penultimate round. And the final round is the Hungaroring on the 9th of October. To round off this Formula 2 season. 8 weeks of racing, 19 turn up to date, and it is looking like we have a very nice season on our hands, especially if this sprint race goes well. This is going to be the first bit of racing that we see, and will help us decide how that main feature race is going to go. Of course, the sprint is a little bit shorter than the feature race. I think this one is 11 or 12 laps, and then the feature race is a little bit longer. Somebody hitting the wall there. Not entirely sure how. There's through the marker boards at the back, but seems to be all good. Of course, the car's basically invincible in the game on the formation lap, so nothing to really worry about in that regard. But, of course, the top 10 do get swapped around, and on this start it will be JF1 starting from pole position. Lawless Fever, who took pole position earlier on, is now going to be starting from P10 as they get swapped from top to bottom. JF1 on pole, Macho Wings 2, Stu 3, CB 4, JP 5, Blake 6, Ruffer X 7, Lose the Gin in 8, Farrell 9, and Lawless Fever to round off the top 10. I'm very, very excited to get into this. And as I say all the time, I always end up either butchering the names of people, butchering the names of the teams in F2, or maybe just forgetting the name of the teams because I'm so not used to it. But I think I am down for this season every 6 p.m. On the Fridays, so should be able to get used to it. Very nice indeed. And this is going to be a very nice sprint race then, everybody, here to kickstart the Formula 2 season on the 6 p.m. races here on MOR Esports. It is JF1 from pole, and the drivers get away. It's lights out and away we go then here in Suzuka, and the drivers down towards turn 1. Jay fighting with Macho here in towards the first corner. They battle side by side, but around the outside line for Jay, who manages to hold on to that lead. Macho then second place. JP all the way up to third place here on the start as yellow flags come out, and somebody at the back may have gone around. There is a lot of action going on at the back, and drivers gone around here. Jack plays involving Top Fox, Dino, Jack, and Drew Jend as well, all out at the back. As up to the front, a very nice start from the drivers. It is JF1 still leading from Macho. Then comes CB. JP's had a very nice start as well as he's up places. I don't know how many we're going to check. It is at 1 at the moment. He was up to third place at best, but has ended up losing that position now. As going off wide there for Kian, who brings himself back on, and with the understeer, can't get himself back on the track. Now gets himself back on, but losing countless places. Down to P15 for Kian at the moment. Not where he'd want to be on the start of this sprint race, but better get it out of the way now than, of course, in that feature race. Here is Alkan Sweet Power then battling away up the inside line here for the Invicta. Will it be a move? Dipping his toes onto the grass, nearly hitting the road in there as well. Might have been a slight bit of contact, but they back off, and wide goes out now, and the Invicta gets himself back on, and that's going to allow Sweet Power to slightly get away with it. And we're going to go with Ruffer X now, who was one of the favourites for pole then on the one-shot quali earlier on. now trying to put the pressure on JP Combs. We are just missing a move here as Farrell and Blake now. Blake goes wide through 130R and goes off there. All round there for JP Combs. Round goes JP down to P16. And after an absolutely beautiful start, it all comes crumbling down in the space of 2 laps. JP down to P15 now. I don't think he has any damage, but unfortunately, losing all those places which he gained on the start. Clyde now into the pit lane at the back, and the battle up at the front then still continuing on the second lap of 11 here in the sprint race. Macho Wings putting the pressure on the high tech. Will Jay crack, or can he hold this lead? CB as well, putting that pressure on the AIX Racing cars of CB and Ruffer in P3 and P4 coming together now as a team, putting the pressure on, of course. No more social races. This is a full championship event, and this is for some proper championship points. The drivers are going to want to work together here, especially if you're in a team, to maximise the points then. It's looking like that is what these guys are doing here. CB and Ruffer X together trying to make an impact on this pack, and it's yellow flags as somebody further down has gone around. It's MOR Blake then, who has potentially hit the wall there. Did go off, losing quite a few places. He gets himself back on the track here. It's a shame that it's gone that way for him, but back on he comes, and now battling away side by side here as he tries it up the inside. Then will this be a move on the it's not on the Premier, I'm not entirely sure what that is. It's the Van Amersfoort then as they battle along. Blake trying to get himself back involved again on Ju Jens, but dropping back. Oh, into the wall there. It's a huge crash for Elk then, out of the session. Massive crash, and that could have been a safety car. We have, for some reason, not got a safety car, but a humongous collision into the barrier then for Elk, who is out. And the drivers continue. No safety car comes out from that. I really thought there would be. Jack plays now the inside line of JP. As these guys battling. Apparently people saying JP took him out. I didn't see it. But JP now battling away. Well, Drew Jens here as well with Jay Rashers and MOR Blake getting involved. Here comes Blake round the outside now of Rashers. He makes a very bold move and will get that car in front. Through goes the MP Motorsport. Blake now into P14. Gets in front. Drew Jens then 13. Jack plays 12. And JP starting to run away with it then from his pack in P11. Now up the front of the order. Lap 3 of 11. And CB, Ruffer X then. P1 and 2 for them. Then comes Macho Wings. JF1 looking for an overtake and doing what he can as up the inside line for Stu. The high-tech's now battling it out then to see who's the best high-tech driver. Can Stu get back in front of his teammate here after he sent a very late lunge on him? Not looking like he can do it at the minute. Jay managing to hold that 4th place. As he goes wide onto the curb, that runs him a little bit off track here, and Stu up the inside in the high-tech. Both team members battling away on the 3rd lap of 11. Jay on the outside. Can he get in front? He can. Makes it look very easy as well. Into 4th place for JF1. As Farron out to 5 and goes wide. Stu dropping down to 6th then on this sprint race at the moment. As here comes Lewis the Ginge up the inside. It's carnage going through the final chicane as we've got the road-in of Lewis Ginge trying to get through and has got through now. Trying to put the pressure on Farrell, who's next up on his list for an overtake. As they make their way all the way down towards turn 1. Locking up and very wide as well. Taking the inside line now is, oh, Stu then goes around as off the track as well at the front. It's carnage here on the start in the sprint race. As off goes Lewis the Ginge after being punted there, I believe. And it's absolute carnage here in Japan, Suzuka. It really is. Up at the front though, the battle's always continuing on. But the two AIX drivers of CB and Ruffer X with a 1-2 in the sprint at the moment, out in front and doing a spectacular job of this race and leading it at the minute by a good margin. Macho Wings in 3rd, JF1 4, then comes Farrell, then comes Lawless Fever, Sweet Power, Lewis the Ginge, Stu, Kian, JP, and Jack plays now, fighting along with Blake, who lets him through, and ahead goes Jack Plays. Move done and dusted for him as JF1 now with a 3-second time penalty. Not a place where you want to be getting penalties then up in P4. That can be very detrimental then to your finishing result at the end. Is up the inside line for Blake. He now goes through. How long for is the question, as Jack will try and fight him back. As Jack coming at him now, looking for that overtake if possible. Looks for the inside, not enough then. We'll wait at the minute on the backside of Blake here. Blake putting up his defensive walls as JP comes with a 3-second time penalty. Penalties starting to slowly rack up now in the sprint race. We are about half race distance now as well. As here comes Jack Plays on the backside of Blake to the inside line for that overtake that we've been waiting for a few laps now. Jack Plays up the inside line, sending it through, and we thought he had it, but Blake has something to say about that as he tries to take it back. Not able to do so at the moment. It's contact between the two as well, and no wing damage there for Blake, but very close to getting it, I have to say. Is Matt Racing in the TikTok? Good to see you, mate. Welcome in. Jay Rashers has retired from the sprint race. Stu Jen's now in the pit lane as well as JP out in front of, I think he just made a place up there, it looked like. Not entirely sure who he would have done. But here is a little battle starting to unfold. It is Farrell running in 5th. He's got Lawless Fever, starting to put that pressure on from behind. How do I join the league to race? It says right at the bottom of the screen, mate. But if you're just joining us, this is a real championship event. Of course, a lot of you might be joining and maybe are used to the social races, but we have now started the full seasons here in the MOR esports. And this is just one of them, the 6 PM Friday F2 events. We do run a sprint quali, a one-shot quali, a sprint race, and a feature race. And this is the kind of action that we get served with. Up the inside line for Farrell. He is ahead of Jay, who goes massively wide. Sweet Power will try and pick up the pieces, but I don't think he's anywhere near enough to do so. And will drop back down to 7. Then Jay in 6, who did drop back. Lawless Fever in 5. And then Farrell ahead of that in P4. As 6 laps in of 11, we are about half race distance or over now. CB and Ruffer X are starting to catch each other. This could be a very nice teammate battle that we get to witness here. As Ruffer X on the backside of CB. Just braking later to try and find the gap. Try and find that extra space, the breathing room to maybe cool the car down. Get it in the optimal temperature, the optimal working conditions then to make that overtake that he's trying to do. There's half a second between them at the minute. But I'm sure that gap's going to come down by the way Ruffer is racing here. It's been a very nice race so far. And a very nice battle that we're about to witness. Down in towards 130R, as you see on the screen. The gap starts to come down slightly, then actually regenerates itself. We go up to 5 tenths, now 6 tenths of a second between them. These guys are going to give it everything. And 6 laps in now, going into the 7th across the line. How quick can Ruffer gain here? How close can he gain here in Suzuka with only 2 tenths of a second the gap? And now in the slipstream with a very long run down towards turn 1. Looks for that move at the inside as CB does pull the defensive move there. Make sure he can't find the gap, can't find the space. Ruffer X manages to hold second place here. CB holds P1. But this is far from over. And Ruffer's not going to want to let his teammate run away with it, is he? In that AAX car, both teammates here battling away, the biggest rivals on the track at the moment. And we are really breezing through this sprint race now as well. If you're just joining us, we have got a feature race upcoming as well. A 50% feature race, so would probably be in the 20s laps around here in Suzuka. I'm not entirely sure how many exactly, but it is in the 20s, I believe, as Ruffer potentially going to go catch. And if you remember, at this point, last lap, he was half a second behind. This time, he's 3 whole tenths of a second behind and now going for a potential overtake before 1:30R. Gaining, and now in this slipstream with 2.5 tenths of a second, the gap still can't do it. Someone says, can anyone join the league? Yes, they can. It's open to anybody, free to anybody. Just need the game. A stride up the inside for Ruffer X. Was very close for an overtake there, wasn't it? But he just waited back. And they both pulled away from it. It could have ended a lot worse than it did there. Ruffer still trying to catch his teammate, but he's nowhere near enough for an overtake. Can't get ahead of CB here. And that's going to be the end of that battle for a minute. Farrell on Macho Wings as well, really mounting the pressure on top of him. Not letting him get away with this. As what is the next race I can join and how do I join? It says how to join, mate, at the bottom of the screen. But the next race you might be able to join, there is one at 8 PM today. I don't know how easy it is to get into. It's looking like it might be pretty full, to be honest, so you might struggle. But we do have races pretty much all day, every single day. It's from, I think, 12, maybe 10 AM. Then you got 12, then you got 2 PM, 4 PM, 6 PM, 8 PM, and 10 PM races. So we've got a lot of action going on throughout the day, and I'm sure you will never miss out on some racing here. As Top Fox 7 with a 3-second time penalty. Not as many penalties as we might usually get here, potentially down to it being F2 and slower cars. I have to say, there can be a bit more of a struggle to get into a corner than your full-blown Formula 1 cars, but Farrell then has got Lawless Fever catching. Jay has also got Sweet Power starting to catch behind that. Sweet Power in the road in, catching up here. Just won't be enough for that overtake that we're still waiting for. 8 laps in of 11 of the sprint race, and we are getting through it. And across the line, here we go then. Some overtakes that we're wanting. Up at the front, Farrell ahead of Macho Wings. Easy move then for him. Farrell goes into 3rd place, gets that move done. Nice to see him doing well and gets in front. Can Macho now hold off Lawless Fever, who is bringing the fight to him? Might make his day a bit harder. Sweet Power behind that as well, bringing the fight to Lawless Fever. But Lawless Fever really putting that pressure on Macho Wings here, and might just cause him to crack very soon. He did just try and move the inside. It didn't work as he waits back. And Jay now as well. Jay's involved in this one. Oh no, is it Jay? No, it's not Jay. It's Lawless Fever trying to get ahead of Macho Wings. My apologies. This goes in the chat with a heart. I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much for the gift. Nice to have the support in the chat this evening. Hopefully you're all doing well. As it's been a really enjoyable sprint race, and I'm sure it is far from over. We've got Jules into the penalty as Clyde retires from the session in the pit lane. We continue on with the racing action, then going on to the penultimate lap now. It's Ruffer extra penalty as CB and Ruffer 1 and 2. Ruffer with a penalty now, so even if he does get in front, would struggle to win this sprint race this afternoon. It's looking like it is going to be a win for CB as it stands. Anything for this amazing league. Really appreciate that, mate. I love how much the league has grown recently. It really is, you know, inspiring, really, of how it started so small. It's grown to what it is today. Full rebrand as well, even with the name change, still getting the people. And with only a few laps left, the sprint race very nearly done. Then going into your feature race after this in the Formula 2 first round of the season to kickstart it off with some good points will be the AIX cars. As Ruffer just trying to find the gap. But even if he gets in front, a 3-second time penalty for himself will really stick him in the mud here and would cause him to struggle to win it. His teammate would take it back on penalties to be honest, it does seem like Ruffer might have that overall pace, though. I believe if he got in front, I honestly think he would get away and run away with this lead. But the defensive move from CB is just too much for Ruffer to take on. There's Blake with a 3-second time penalty. We go round now onto your final lap of the sprint race here in the Formula 2. Brand new season for the first round of the season in MOR Esports. The final lap showdown where Ruffer does have a penalty but would like to still get in front of CB if he can and go ahead and win this race. But I don't think 3 seconds is going to get done. A brilliant, fantastic move round the outside for Ruffer, who makes a very nice and bold overtake. Through he goes round the outside line. Ruffer now leads the sprint race here in Japan. As CB down to P2, but with a 3-second gap that needs gaining and needs finding. I don't know if it's possible here. 6.5 tenths of a second. Needs quite a bit more than that then to do what he needs to do and win this race. Jay with a 3-second penalty here. The back end coming out there for the leader of Ruffer, the newly appointed leader, who's only just got there after making a very late lunge around the outside line. It's mesmerising to watch when people make overtakes like that. They either go very, very, well, or they could be catastrophic ending. And this time it worked out well for me and the viewers at home, as Ruffer X then out in front. He's up 6 places since the start. And even after getting in front with a 3-second time penalty, this sprint win is all going to be lost. And CB, who might be, you got to say, the more deserving winner, leading more laps, leading this race even more. And the defensive moves and the defensive driving from him was absolutely brilliant. A cut above the rest. Ruffer as your leader and will cross the line as your winner. But with a 3-second time penalty, his teammate CB takes this sprint win here in the first round of the season, taken by his teammate Ruffer X, and a 1-2 finish for the AIX team. It is Farrell 3rd place, Lawless Fever then to 4, Macho Wings 5, P6 then is Lewis the Ginge, P7 Kitten, 8 JP, 9 Sweet Power, 10 is Jay, 11 is MOR Blake, then is Stu 12, Jack Plays 13, Top Fox 14, Jew Jens will be there to take P15. And that is the end of your sprint race. Next up is the feature race, everybody, the main race. As we just wait for Jew Jens to round off this race. Sheridan says he gets the 3-second penalty because he crashed into a lap car. Surely it gets taken away. Something you might have to report to the stewards, mate, and see what they think about it. Well, a very nice sprint race, everybody. And a 1-2 finish for the drivers. Here we go then. CB from Ruffer, take 1 and 2. The Lawless Fever then taking 3rd here in the sprint. What a nice race that was. Now we've got the feature race. It's going to be even better. Farrell 4, then Macho Wings 5. Lewis the Gin 6, P7 Kiam, 8 JP, 9 Sweet Power, and 10 is Jay. Next up then is the main race. And one I am very, very excited to get into, I have to say. Feature race coming up. Do not go anywhere, as I will be going to fill my drink up, so I'm prepared for this feature race. Do not go anywhere. I'll leave you on the screen, and we'll be back very, very shortly for your main race. It's going to be a good one. Do not go anywhere, everybody. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you very soon. Right, everybody, drink is acquired, and we are ready for the main feature race here in the F2 season of MOR Esports. It is the first round of an 8-round season. We've just had a sprint race won by CB. Ruffer X then taking second place, and Farrell taking that third. But a really nice race on our hands. Make sure you're sticking around for it, everybody. And if you want to get involved, read the banner at the bottom. And I'm sure you're going to find some space here. What a league it is, I have to say. Absolutely brilliant. Always space for you. Well, on the grid, Lawless Fever out in front, and honestly, I'm very excited to see how this goes. The sprint was quite nice. Feature races are usually pretty decent as well. Of course, this does involve strategy. Sprint, you don't need to make a pit stop. You do in F2, in the feature race, of course, and here in the F2. But for the F2 Championship, here it's 6 p.m. The first round of the season is about to get properly underway and in full swing here in Suzuka. Then the 5 lights ahead of the drivers with Lawless Fever from pole position. And it is lights out and away we go, and the drivers get away really well indeed. Then down towards the first corner, it's already nearly 6 abreast into the first corner. But of course, Lawless Fever gets a very nice jump and leads through the first few corners. Farrell then to second place, Ruffer then running in third, as then comes JP Combs in 4, Blake 5, Lewis the Ginge in 6, CBP 7 then as he goes up and ahead there of Lewis the Ginge. Lewis down to P7 on a 15-lap race, by the way, so barely any more laps than the sprint race. It's pretty much the same thing, which is actually quite crazy. I didn't know we did that. But Top Fox then, get on ahead of Jack Plays as well. Moved unadjusted for him, as ahead he goes. A nice start for a lot of drivers. Blake now at the inside line of JP. And look at these guys battle it all the way. It's 3 abreast here going into the left-hander, and some of them have to back out. JP goes into 4th, then is CB5. Blake then drops down to 6th. Lewis the Ginge will be involved here as well. It's all cracking off here in the F2 racing at the minute. Lewis the Ginge and Macho Wings battling away all the way down towards the left-hand side. Can Macho make the move up the inside? Can Lewis Ginge make the move? Not looking like he can at the minute, as he does try it. Surprises us a little bit there as he does go for the move. It is level on the exit of the left-hander all the way down towards 130R. Can Lewis Ginge get in front here of Macho, who's giving it everything, and they still stay battling level into the left-hander. None of them lift off. It's foot flat to the floor for the drivers, and ahead is going to go Macho for now, holding that place. And that move's done and dusted for now, I think. Blake and CB swap places too. Blake into 5. There's Drew in the chat now as well. Hello, good to see you in the chat, Drew. Here for the F2 of the WRC. The chat plays and Sweet Power both in the pit lane on the start. It's looking like potential damage for them. Sweet Power must have had some bad damage to retire at the very start like that, out of the session. Knows that maybe their chances are destroyed. There's definitely wing damage there. The Lawless Fever's out in front, and by a nice margin of 3.2 seconds, I have to say. Farrell second place, then in the MP Motorsport. Then comes Ruffer X. Then comes JP Combs, Blake CB, Macho, Drew Jens, Lewis the Ginge, and Stu round up your top 10 Reminder that in the sprint, CB, Ruffer and Farrell made up your top three. As these guys run each other into the wall, huge crash there for one of the drivers. I think it was Stu into the wall. That's going to be huge wing damage, surely. Yeah, the left and right side completely destroyed here on the front of the high-tech. What a shame, as that'll be a trip to the pit lane for him. Kian now battling on the back side of Top Fox. Just trying to get in front. That's Kian holding 10. He's doing really well, I've got to say, for Kian. Kian normally further down the grid. Look at him go today. 10th place at the minute. Doing very well on the start. Let's see. He's up 1 place as well, so looking really good. The best position gainer today is Ju Jens. And not a bad effort at all, to be honest, in the Van Amersfoort Racing. Macho wings out with a 3-second time penalty. The first penalty of the afternoon. I've been told on turn 1, Jay spun and collected out with him. Not good. Jay being allowed to race back in MOR, of course, was formerly WRC, and potentially getting in some trouble again. Not what you want to be hearing for him. As Jay runs down in P12. Here comes Blake then, trying to catch JP, the commentator, which doesn't make him any worse of a driver. He's very good. Blake goes wide though, and he gets himself back on. He's very lucky that didn't end worse. He's only lost a few tenths of a second, really, to now CB in front. CB is just trying to catch up on JP. It's Kian with a 3-second time penalty, and Ruther X now trying to catch Farrell for 2nd place here, and a chance at a higher spot on the podium this afternoon. It's in the pit lane, well, out retires somewhere. That is looking like a safety car, if I'm not mistaken. Or it could be, never mind, that is out. That's just a car, yellow, my apologies. No safety car. Does look like a safety car heading down the pit lane, that. But no safety car. Lawless Fever then continues on with a 4.5-second gap over Farrell, who is starting to be challenged here by Ruffer. CB's making his way through the order as well, as he puts mounds of pressure on JP, pushes him wide. And now battling along in the Prima. Can JP get in front? He will just slot in behind here. As bear with me a second, as I've been told to invite Ollie Southall, if I can find him. There you go, mate. As all Farrell and Ruther X then are having a very nice scrap at the front. It's the MP Motorsport against the AAX. What a battle at the moment, I have to say. There's 20 people watching live in the TikTok. Not too many. No, there's 21 in the Twitch as well, but I can't see the Twitch chat for some reason, as it isn't showing up on my screen today. So I'll have to get that up on my phone in a bit and see if there's been anything going on in there. But a little bit going on in the TikTok. Nice to have you all with us this afternoon. The numbers starting to gain as well. Honestly, don't think we need any more. The amount of people joining the league, it's going to get absolutely unmanageable if it carries on. Are the races 8 PM and 6 PM BST? Yes, they are, mate. You also get all the way through the day, basically. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 1 at 10 AM as well, sometimes, I think, and 12. So it's a busy one. It is a very, very busy one. You doing 8 PM comms? Not today. But I will be doing 8 PM tomorrow, I believe, and Sunday as well. It's going to be a busy weekend for me. But I think I need to take the jobs off of JP here and some of the other commentators that have joined since I've been gone. I'm more than happy to do some. Been gone for a while. Had a very nice holiday. Now got to get back to work. Ruther X then is going to be potentially catching foul here. JP with a huge 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. His Prima, he will not be happy with that then. Kian coming out of the pit lane as well, coming past the pit lane, sorry, into 8th place. Not too bad for Kian at the minute. But JP is in there getting new tyres on. Of course, the F2 pit stops take considerably longer with a lot less pit crew. JP will come out now in P11. As Drew Jens dropping down to P12. and losing places. We've got Lewis the Ginge and Macho Wings as well with a very nice action-packed battle here. Only 10 laps left of the feature race. I've got to say, it does go fast in the F2. Maybe it's because of the low amount of laps, but that is probably because of the, the slower cars, of course, that we have here. Nowhere near as fast as the F1. You can just hear it popping and banging as it heads down the straight, plummets down towards the corner. Macho trying to get ahead of Lewis, but seeming to be struggling at the moment to actually make that overtake and get it done. As we'll look a little bit higher, see if we can find anything. Not looking like we can at the moment, but Lawless Fever, who is leading by 4.8 seconds, will sacrifice that lead and go into the pit lane for some new tyres. Probably not a new wing because it's looking like a clean race from him. Absolutely is, yeah, no new wing. It is just brand new tyres coming on then. Of course, as I mentioned, it does take considerably longer. And the Trident comes out now in P5. It will be less. Now down to P7. And coming out now in P7, yeah, JF1 with a 10-second penalty. Now he speeds in the pit lane. CB's in there, Macho's in there too. JP coming past and making up places that he would have, of course, lost on the pit stop. Now up to 9th place. Let's have a look at who hasn't made a pit stop yet. A lot of the pack here. Jay now retires from the session in the pit lane. Decides, I'm not going to carry on. Is up the front now. We're missing a battle as well as Farrell and Ruffer X for the race lead here in Suzuka. Up the inside line for Farrell. Ruffer then will have to drop back. Still trying to take it back. Can't do so. In second place for it at the minute. As here comes Ruffer again on the backside of Farrell for that move that we've been waiting for here. 6 laps in of 15 of the feature race. We had an 11-lap sprint, only 15-lap feature. Honestly feels like it should be longer. Just trying to dip his toes up the inside there. Knew it was not going to work out for him and does just wait behind them for the right opportunity here, which could be coming up very soon. As Ruffer X looks for the inside to fake him to the outside now. And it is a very nice move if he can make it work. Held the outside for a bit. Now trying to take it up the inside on the next few corners. Contact made, but it is not enough to take that lead. And Farrell with some very nice defensive action leading this race still here in Japan. As Ruffer managing to be the driver battling away with Farrell and still manages to hold on to the rear side of him as well. He might not be making that move just yet, but he is staying within contention, and that's all that he wants. As long as he's there for the final few laps, it is all that matters. Of course, these guys haven't made a pit stop either. And when they go into the pit lane, they will lose places, but this battle still stays with them. And these two will continue to battle once their pit stops have been and gone. Not been around just yet, though, as here comes Ruffer with a lunge to the inside, looking for a little bit of extra space here, a bit of room to be let through. It's not going to be as easy as that. And Farrell closes him off once again. As out leaves the session, then one of the first drivers out today, out Sweet Power and Jay. All 3 drivers out of the Grand Prix, or feature race, I must say, tonight in the Formula 2. Of course, if you like the action, if you're interested in this kind of action, we are back again with more action like this. Later on, it's round then nearly for Ruffer as he narrowly misses the wall. That was so close. Somehow does not hit that barrier. Absolutely insane, that. Absolutely incredible as well, as he managed to save it. Farrell out in front by 3.7 seconds. But a great race so far, and as it stands, the championship would look pretty good for a certain few drivers, especially Ruffer X. Of course, not been into the pit lane yet, and it is all going to change. Lawless Fever is doing a great job. CB is effectively in second place here when the drivers in front make a pit stop. So in terms of the standings after this event, CB won the sprint. So if there's points for the sprint race, which there should be, that's points there. CB then would take second place here today as well, even more points. I think he'll be leading the championship here after the first round, going into Shanghai next week. I believe that's where we stand with CB at the moment. Ruffer second place on the sprint race. Here in the feature is second place, but we'll be losing that when the pit stops come in. Do you know who is doing the 8 PM comms, if anyone is? I will check for you really, really quickly, mate. I was going to check it anyway, just because I wanted to know. And it's looking like it is, if I can find it, we are on Friday, 8 PM. It is JP on commentary later. JP's done a lot of comms for WRC today. Friday, 12, 2 and 4. He's had a little bit of a break when I came in at 6, and then he's going to be right back to it at 8. And then we've got AERT Sander to do commentary at 10 PM. Gavin Bass doing 12 and 2 tomorrow. And then I'm on for 4, 6 and 8. Gavin doing 10. Then Gav doing 12 and 2 for Sunday. And then it is me to do 4, 6 and 8 again. So a long, you know, weekend of racing and commentary. But should be really, really good. As it's been so long. Who last thought to Joe? Good to see you, Aaron. It's nice to have you back. I've been missing the originals joining us. There's not been many original people in here today from when I was commentating a few weeks ago. Nice to have you with us, mate. Hopefully you're doing well. As we are here for the Formula 2 action. The first round of the season. No more social races anymore. This is a full championship event and 4 points. And it's been really, really enjoyable to watch so far. Of course, we've had your sprint race, now into your feature race. And the feature race equally being as good. It's Farrell now into the pit lane for some new tyres. Starting that strategy. What is it going to be for him then on the hards at the minute? Coming into the pit lane for some new tyres. Yeah, I do stand corrected. The social races do continue on, but there is a lot more championship events now going on, and the seasons have started, so a lot of championship events happening. Social races still happen at 12 PM and 4 PM apparently. The 16 people still racing. We have lost Jay, Alk and Sweet Power all out of this session today. Still 16 though, it is a nice number, and the racing has been fairly clean from everybody. There's only been a select few, unfortunately, as we have got Jay saying championship events are 6 and 8, socials from 12 to 4. Appreciate you letting me know, Matt. I really do appreciate that, as I understand that a little bit better now. So yeah, 6 and 8 races are championship events, and of course social races from 12 till 4, so that'll be 12, 2 and 4. 3 races going on. A lot of races going on here in MOR Esports, and I'm still having to get used to saying that. Of course, from WRC we've changed over as Ruffer in the pit lane, as well as Lewis the Ginge. Lawless Fever coming round now and is about to get his moment in the sun once again. Will be your leader, will take that lead once again. Coming round now and towards the line for Lawless Fever. Leading this Grand Prix, this feature race, getting ahead of Ruffer, Lewis and Top Fox all in the pit lane. Finally, the Trident leading again as CB comes through as well and does get that second place we knew he had. In terms of the championship, honestly, like I said, I think CB is going to be doing the best out of everybody at the minute, I really have to say. Oh, someone's got around there. Ju Jens and Stu round there for Ju Jens back on the track. As MOR, Blake and JP are battling as well. JP comes now in 5 with a 1 stop under his belt so far. He's up 1 place as well since the very start of this feature race. Only 4 laps to go now here in Suzuka. 4 more times around the circuit. How time flies when you're having fun here in MOR Esports. And this battle looks like it's simmered out as soon as I've gone to it, unfortunately. It does seem to happen quite a lot. But the leader of Lawless Fever ahead by 7.4 seconds as Mr. Bilski. Predictions on who will win. Honestly, Lawless Fever for me. It's been a flawless race from him. And if we don't see any huge mistakes, it'll be an easy win for the Trident. It's going to be very, very good race so far, and hopefully he can round it off because it's thoroughly deserved. Lawless Fever goes ahead and does it. Ooh, snap there of oversteer. Somehow catching that car as he was moments away from plummeting into the barrier. Lawless just trying to hold on to this now. He can't afford any mistakes like that. This needs to be right. Needs to go right all the way through now till the end to win this feature race for the Formula 2. He's done a good job of it so far. 7.7 seconds the gap as Ruffer now starting to catch JP as well. Ruffer on a roll. CB and Ruffer teammates, of course, 1 and 2 in the sprint race. And coming here today, honestly, Ruffer might have the pace here to catch up to the leaders once more. This could be a very nice race for him. Only a few laps to go, but at this rate, it could be a very high place for Ruffer here. As he gains and gains and gains on the backside of JP. Just not able to make that move, not able to make that lunge, the send. Now he makes the send into 6th place, or at least trying it. Ruffer now with a penalty because of that. And JP continues on as your leader of the battle. Ruffer now switching back underneath with this slipstream as well. None of it will be enough to get in front in the moment with only 3 laps to go. Just trying it now, getting a little bit cheeky with his move. Ruffer looking for that gap. So close to causing a collision every time he goes for a move. He's very aggressive with the driving. Ruffer giving everything to get his car in front, finding places to place the car where none of us would have ever thought. Now to the outside, very nearly contact again. JP continuing on as your leader, but Ruffer's going to try and take it back, switch it back up the inside line. Not looking like enough at the minute, but he is pulling on him. And late lunge up the inside line is contact between Ruffer and JP. And now contact between Lewis Gins behind him. Lewis continues on. Ruffer down to 7. He was on an absolute roll today. Honestly, was looking like he was going up the order. He was going places this afternoon. I thought it was going to be a very nice finish, but unfortunately for Ruffer, down to P7 with yellow flags here. What a shame that is then. What a shame that is, everybody. It's a really, really nice effort from him, but unfortunately doesn't always go the way you want it to in the F1 and F2, of course, as well. As we are lap 14 of 15 in the feature race this afternoon. It's Lawless Fever as your leader by 8.1 seconds over CB. We'll Stu with the penalty now. Stu down in, wherever he is, I can't even find it. Down in P13. Picking up a time penalty there. Jack plays without one. Jen's not got a penalty either. Around the outside line of back markers there, then into P11. As we have got yellow flags. I think that's through the back marker slowing down. As to your leader, Lawless Fever, with only one lap to go to win the feature race in the Trident here for the first round of the season in the Formula 2 MOR Esports World Championship. What a race, I've got to say. CB, I think, will be the leader of the World Championship come the end of this event, going into Shanghai next week after winning the sprint race today, taking that win, now coming here for second place in the feature race. It's not bad at all, is it? Not too shabby. One off having the best results possible in both. Of course, won the sprint and second place for this. If it stays like this, Lawless Fever still could have a big mistake, but as it stands, it will be a hell of a lot of points going to him. As Blake and Farrell, the MP Motorsport cars, battling at the very end of this race. Farrell just trying to find a gap here to get through past his teammate. It's not working out for them, and Farrell will have to hold fourth place. But with the time penalty to Blake here, I think Farrell will take it away from his teammate, which is what he wants to happen. Blake maybe not so much. But anyway, a very nice feature race, everybody. And in the Trident, it is Lawless Fever all the way down the back straight. The first round of the season has absolutely delivered them with racing here in the Formula 2. And Lawless Fever, after taking pole position earlier on, now converting that pole into a win. And for the first round of the season, it's going to be very nice indeed here for Lawless Fever, who will take the win for the Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka. Absolutely brilliant job here for Lawless Fever in the Trident, winning ahead of CB second place, and Blake will cross the line here for third. But Farrell on penalties takes it away from his teammate in the MP Motorsport. Third place for him. Blake then to fourth. JP takes 5. Ruffer X takes 6. Lewis Gin 7 as Ruffer now takes 5. JP 6. Lewis 7. Macho wings across the line for 8. 9 will be key, and then when he gets there, it's Kieran with a 10-second time penalty after not serving it in the pit lane throughout the event. As here's Jude Jens then in the Van Amersfoort, all the way around and towards the line. P11 for him. Jack plays, battling with Stu then. Oh, so never mind, it's a back marker. Battling away. Jack plays then coming through. P12 for him. Stu P13. Dino Jack then across the line for P14 here. Jay Rashers 15. Clyde coming round for 16. And there you go, everybody. That is it. The first round of the season here in the F2. 6 PM races is concluded. And really hope you enjoyed that. Here is your finishing results then. In a moment's time, a backflip then for the winner. And a very nice race indeed. Here is your results then. Lawless Fever is your winner from the fastest lap of foul drive of the day to CB. Most overtakes the Top Fox, and the cleanest driver goes to CB. Considering that he's not raced these cars before, it's a very nice job indeed. Here's Lawless Fever then winning with 32 points over CB, second place. Then comes Farrell for third on the final spot on the podium. Rough Rex 4, then Blake 5. Lewis the Ginge in 6, joined by JP Combs 7, Macho Wings 8, 9, Kian, and 10 is Top Fox. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me on the first commentary back. A little bit rusty, but I'm going to get used to it, and I will be back in full swing in a few streams. Do not worry about that. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great evening. Make sure you turn up for JP's 8 PM race later on for the F2 again. Have a nice night, and I'll see you for my commentaries tomorrow afternoon. Good night, everyone. Laps of racing, and finally, after doing everything right, he crosses the line here in Abu Dhabi for the first Christmas race for JCC events. He's going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.